So on Thursday, we went to the polls in Ontario, and Doug Ford won his third majority. And I did a video last week saying that the Liberals, provincially anyway, needed to win the election but wouldn't. And I was correct. But I did not foresee Bonnie Crombie losing her actual seat. That was pretty devastating for the Liberal Party. But it's very interesting because for the first time in a long time in Ontario, we have an NDP opposition. And so they won 25 seats. The Liberals won 14, and the Conservatives won 79, I believe it was, of the 124 seats in the legislature. Now, I did actually get an email back from the MPP that I wrote to, and she actually does want to speak to me about my email and more about the content of it. I did get the we increased ODSP to the index of inflation talking point that I knew I would get. But the fact that the Conservative MPP wants to talk to me about the framework changes that I put in the email as well is very promising. I'm not going to give up hope on that, because if I can get a Conservative MPP's ear in this matter and show them how unfair it is, then we might be able to get some changes in the thought processes in the Conservative Party of Ontario, at least, and get some change going. I'm not surprised that Doug Ford won his third majority. I wasn't. It may have been a throwaway vote. I was considering voting either Liberal or NDP for provincial. I just couldn't bring myself to do NDP because of the things like the $20 an hour minimum wage. That they were just asking for too much money spending from the government that taxpayers would have to pay for, and I just couldn't justify a vote for the NDP. But it looks like we're gonna have a Conservative majority with an NDP opposition for the next 5 years, and we will see what happens now with Doug Ford. And I really don't like how he is pushing so many federal talking points. It's the same argument I have with the federal Liberals and how they push too many provincial talking points and want to get involved in too much provincial politics with their policies. It's the same with Doug Ford. He's too involved in the tariff talks for a premier. Yeah, premiers need to be involved, but this is he's acting like he's in the federal cabinet, and it's getting a little bit ridiculous. And the other problem with Ford is his obsession with Toronto being the only important part of Ontario. So while I'm not surprised, I am disappointed that Doug Ford has won. I knew it was going to happen. What I didn't know was who would be the opposition. So we have an NDP opposition for the first time in a long time. I'm not going to say for the first time ever, because I don't think it has been for the first time ever. I'm pretty sure we had an NDP opposition at one point, because we had an NDP government in Ontario, Bob Rae, for a period of time. So yeah, for the first time in a while, we have an NDP opposition to Doug Ford, which means we might see some movement on some social programs, because they won't be quiet. So we'll have to wait and see what the NDP can accomplish with the help of the Liberal Party, because I do sense a coalition coming between the NDP and the Liberals. I really do. That's going to be the way that they beat Doug Ford next election, is if they do a coalition. And that's going to be the way that they get anything accomplished in the House. So the smart thing for them to do now is to become a coalition and get Doug Ford and his party to kind of capitulate on a couple of things. Hopefully one of them being ODSP. So that's my thoughts on the election. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Monday. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.